Welcome to Antique Purveyor, an exclusive furniture experience. Receiving, uncrating, and installing your Fletcher Capstan table. Uncrating, installing, and exercising your Fletcher-style Capstan table is simple, but there are details in this tutorial that will help us succeed. So watch this tutorial a couple times before the table arrives, and once more on the day of delivery. There are 3 steps for uncrating. Step 1. Unpack the pedestal crate and bring the pedestal into the room of choice. Locate the hardware pouch, which is usually visible from the outside crate, or you'll find it stapled under the top of the pedestal. Bring the pedestal into your room of choice and position the pedestal in room. Now is the best time to be exact with the placement of the pedestal because these tables are difficult to move around once they are put together. Step 2. Uncrate the tabletop, but leave it packaged. Remove all the sheetrock screws around the top outside edges of the crate and remove crate lid. Remove and discard all loose styrofoam pieces, but do not unpack the shrink wrap. The tabletop is attached to the crate floor at 4 handles with 8 T25 deckmate screws. Remove the deckmate screws at these handles so the table can be freed from the crate and handled properly. The table should only be moved by using these handles. Step 3. Use the 4 handles to carry the protected tabletop to the pedestal and line up the 2 red lines located on the outside of the pedestal plates. Use the 6 provided screws and loosely attach the pedestal to the tabletop. Keep them very loose until all 6 are threaded correctly, then snug them hand tight. Now you can remove the table handles. These handles are important and should be saved. These handles are the only way to safely move this table. Now that you have the table in your room of choice, we can begin unpacking and operating the table. There are 2 layers of packing. Unpack the protective material around the very outside of the tabletop. After removing the outside layer of material, you will still see some packing material left on internal parts which should not be removed until after next step. When handling the apron, don't let your fingers curl under the apron because once you start rotating the apron, you can jam your fingertips into hardware. Keep your fingers on the outside of the apron and under the apron, but not on the inside. Lower the apron by turning the lower part clockwise and let the perimeter of the table drop down and out of the way. The apron must drop down about an inch to make room for moving parts. Now that the apron is lowered, unpack the shrink wrap around the tabletop edge. Your table is now free to rotate and open. Continue opening the table by rotating the apron clockwise until all tabletop parts are level. As you turn clockwise, you'll feel a little resistance as the star is being raised. Then there is a plateau where all the table parts are at the same level and you no longer feel gravity pulling the star back down. That's the sweet spot where you want the table to be for this next step, and so that you can safely and easily remove the leaves and their packaging. Lift each of the 6 leaves out, unpack, and put leaves back into table. Slowly continue the apron clockwise to fully open table. Don't worry about the size of the seams yet. Just keep opening the table slowly while paying close attention to all the moving parts and that they are aligned properly as they come together. Once the table is fully open to the biggest shape, you can now reverse the movements and make the table smaller again. Go counterclockwise with apron. Remember the 3 C's. Counterclockwise close. Once the table is at its smallest configuration, you can continue counterclockwise with the apron and it will raise and become level and finish the true round shape. Here are some tips for making the initial operation go smoothly. Tip 1. When closing table, control the gravitational pull downward and lower the star slowly. Do not let gravity pull the table closed too fast. Make sure all 6 leaves have enough time to fall down and get out of the way. Exercise this slowly. Slow open and slow close, and make sure everything is moving well before you get aggressive with any of the movements. Tip 2. When opening the table, finish strongly, and the seams will come together tighter. The table has a brake for locking the table in either the small or large configuration. The brake is a bolt in your hardware pouch that has a black handle. That brake will go under the table and help lock the table into place. You'll see a hole under the table where the brake can be threaded and left there loosely. Well, thanks for taking the time to listen to this tutorial. Enjoy your Fletcher Capstan table.